Tour Junkies.
What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to the DraftKings DFS preview show for the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am 2024. DB here. I got another brew in hand. Pat, what's the podcast?
Oh, nice.
I switched to a lager.
I just got a little light Pilsner here. Very
Cheers.
nothing, but yeah, cheers to you.
Cheers.
We got to get ourselves kind of in good shape for next week at the waste management, because you can't go into that like, I mean, look, a lot of people do dry January.
Yeah.
Okay. And some people do partially dry January, which is kind of like sort of what I did, maybe, or like a third of the way dry January. But you really, once you go into the waste management in February, you got to be in good shape in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can't just decide I'm going to go run a marathon and not prepare for it.
No.
Excited about that. We're going to be at Waste Management next week, but we'll talk about that later. This week, it's Pebble Beach. It's weird. It's a new format. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be a great show tonight. We've got obviously picks in each range. We're going to talk about where the chalk might be. We're going to move quickly through the picks because at the end of the show, our good friend Danny Woodhead is going to join us, and he's going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. Sat down with Danny, interviewed him today, talked about a couple of Super Bowl experiences that he had, his thoughts on the matchup between the Niners and the Chiefs. You know, every year, me and Pat like to do a little Super Bowl stuff. You know, typically for the Waste Management show, we do our favorite Super Bowl prop bets. You know, we've done quite well with the weird prop bets for the Super Bowl. I don't know if we'll be able to do those next week. We'll see. The schedule's going to be weird with us traveling to Scottsdale, but we'll see. But Danny stops by and it's fantastic. So that's going to happen at the end of the show. You're not going to want to miss that. We're going to do our 6K draft. It was a great betting show. We spun our betting wheel of punishment for the end of season long bet that me and Pat are doing. And you got to go watch that show to see where that ended up. But it was a good one. Pat, your friend took it down at the Farmers. The strange year continues.
Yeah. Piedmont. Mathieu.
There it is.
That guy who you got to love.
Mathieu.
I mean,
sorry.
Bless you. Mathieu.
Bless you.
Bless everyone. Bless everyone. He did win, and it was fantastic. I mean, look, it looked like he was just absolutely about to blow it on 18. And then he hits a fantastic shot out of the rough to about 8 to 10 feet, nails the putt, wins it. You know, I mean, too bad for Hogard. I loved Hogard last week, by the way. He was high on my list. I loved him in DFS. I did not bet him, which I should have out. Well, actually I shouldn't have, because it didn't matter. But I was a big fan of Hogard in DFS, and he was very good. But it was a good tournament. Good tournament.
Yeah, it was interesting. Matt Chu has been hot to come out to start the year. Our friend producer Tony does have a new soundboard that he unveiled on the betting show, and there's just sounds coming from everywhere. We don't know what to expect or when it's coming, but he's loading up sounds. If you have any suggestions for things that have to be on that soundboard that have been said at a certain time by either one of us, go ahead and drop that in the comments if you're watching on YouTube.
Yes, it's going to say.
That one's going to get us for a long time.
Yeah.
And while you're there, hit the like button. Like the show, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Let's I do need to let people know. So in addition to the Woodhead content at the end of this show, we had a great conversation about the state of professional golf, PGA Tour and LIV. Danny is a golf addict through and through, watches a ton of golf, had a ton of opinions on it, ton of thoughts, ton of takes. May surprise you, some of the takes Danny Woodhead had. That is going to drop probably on Friday on the YouTube channel. Also, the first LIV event of the season is at Mayakoba. That kicks off on Friday. I'll be doing, and probably Pat, hopefully Pat, will be doing a betting preview for LIV Mayakoba this week, so be on the lookout for that. And you know what? Yeah, Pat already mentioned we'll be at the Waste Management next week. Couple things there. We do have some tee times available on Friday morning. If you're in Scottsdale on Friday and you want to play some golf with us, we have some listeners joining us. We've got, I think, 3 spots left. for Dobson Ranch, which is a fantastic muni, great vibes. We're getting a great value on the golf course. It's a lot of fun, great place to play. Only downside is we tee off at 7:30 in the morning on Friday, and we have to do that because me and Pat have to travel back on Friday afternoon. So it'll be an early day, but we'll get some bloodies in you. Be responsible or semi-responsible on Thursday night, so you don't feel terrible. I can already tell you I'm gonna have to babysit the hell out of Pat. I can tell you this.
I think that Thursday, like we're gonna be out the Waste Management Thursday, first time like ever.
We'll be there Tuesday and Wednesday doing the media thing.
We were, but that's on the media thing, and we have to behave ourselves. But and Thursday we probably have to behave ourselves. But I feel like we'll take it in. It'll be an early night Thursday night. We'll see if that happens.
It will not, and I can guarantee you, I'm going to have this conversation. This conversation right here is about to go down. Okay, on Friday morning, I will be up trying to get our happy tails to the golf course. Pat will not be up. He will not be up, and I'll go into his room. I'll be like, Pat, come on, we gotta go. And Pat's gonna be like, wow, no, fuck you. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's what you'll say. I'm not doing it. And we'll say, Pat, we have listeners that are there. They want to see you. They want to hang out with you. They want to play golf with you. We're playing golf. Get up. And I'm going to have to drag him to the course. We'll come in hot, cold. He'll be like, first thing I'm doing when I get there is I got to get a drink. Don't ask me to go to the range or the putting range.
That is 100%
do is get a drink. This whole conversation is going to happen. I'm just telling you, the whole thing.
I don't know. You say this, and like at the member guest, you took it deep the first night, and I went to bed early.
But the member guest is different. It's my member guest too.
That's true. Anyway.
And I got somehow ended up in the cabin with all the rich old guys, and they fed me like expensive bourbon till 2 a.m.
Well, good for you.
Okay, so that's next week. The Waste Management will be there Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So if you're around, let us know. And Thursday, be out walking around, be a good time. Okay, before we leave the Farmers, a little bit of Farmers DFS post-mortem, if you will. The perfect lineup at the Farmers. Good Lord. I mean, Pat, you would have left $5,300 on the table on DraftKings.
Insane. Just another theme for the year?
Obviously, you would have had Pavon, Jaeger, Højgaard, Matsuyama, who we both talked about a good bit in the Discord chat on Wednesday night. Nate Lashley and Jake Knapp, which, by the way, did you see? I mean, the Jake Knapp golf swing it's really very good. Sexy.
Yeah, it is.
It is like God, you would have scored 617.5 points at a total cumulative ownership of around 42% on average. You would have had 2 guys in the 8K, 2 in the 7s, and 2 in the 6s. Complete 9 and 10K fade. Wow. Overall, pretty bad week for the chalk, I would say. A lot of the popular lineup construction was 2 or 3 from the 9 or 10K range, matched with a bunch of 7K guys that were kind of spread out. Not a lot of people dipped into the 6Ks. They leaned heavily into course history with a couple of exceptions. But, Torrey kind of showed us this year, course history may not be, I don't know, maybe it was an outlier year because obviously it's a strange field and the whole thing, but it wasn't very predictive this week, given it's a pretty simple layout to figure out. Guys talk about how this isn't a place that has a whole lot of nuance. You do have the unpredictable Poa greens that you got to either be comfortable on or just be able to power through it. And the rough was quite thick. So the variance was high. But you were fine fading the chalk, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I had a decent week with having a lot of Højgaard. I had a lot of Matsuyama, which was nice. But
we had a good week in the Discord. Our boy Chris Draper, shout out to Chris, took down a showdown day. We had some great showdown chats with Spaz and Byron the Model Maniac and DT, I think, led some great showdown chats, and Chris Draper took it down for like $4,000. I can't remember which round it was. So we had some nice wins there in the Discord. By the way, this week's Wednesday night Discord chat, Model Maniac Byron is going to join me and Pat for the whole first hour, and he might hang on after it gets weird, but he will be here for the whole first hour. All the signature events in the majors this year, we will have guest appearances in the Wednesday night Discord chat. So another reason for you to get in the Discord, make that thing happen. So it'll be a good chat tonight.
Absolutely. I love it. DB, you know what I finally got? Not finally. I just got it, and I'm excited because we're going to see them, I think, next week at the Waste Management. But Swannies, and listen, Swannies is amazing. I've got a new T-shirt on Now,
Look at
you
that.
may think golf gear. You may
Wait a minute,
just
stand up again. That looks
look at that
that's a murdered out tiger goat.
tiger goat right there. That
God,
T-shirt.
that looks good.
The first ever Swannies gear that has ever donned itself upon my breast is this T-shirt. And let me tell you something, it is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn for a T-shirt. You use the code TJ25 over and over and over again if you want to, and you get 20.
Over and over. Who sings that? You know that song?
Uh,
Over and
that's
over
from a
again.
movie.
I might have messed up the melody on that, but you get it.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
No, it's not Creed. It's not Creed.
okay.
It's Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. That's right.
I
25.
wanna kiss you all over.
You're messing up my ad read.
All right. Well, this is what I do sometimes when you do an ad read.
25% off Swannies Golf. Check them out. By the way, this water bottle helped make this T-shirt. If you want,
Water bottle?
yeah,
What a flex, that Ritz-Carlton water bottle you have up there, by the way.
it says it on this Swannies tag right there.
Dang, huh? Made a T-shirt? They turn water bottles into T-shirts around there?
Yeah, it's amazing. So you're doing good for the environment by getting Swannies, doing the recycling thing, all of
Also,
that kind of.
my polo is Swannies, and it's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
and your
like
hat, by the way, is
and my hat, yeah.
everybody can see.
It's got these, like, subtle you can't really see, but it's got these, like, subtle designs in it, but I really like it. I like the color too. And I love the floral placard and the I like a good stiff collar and placard. You know,
Yeah.
if you got floppy placards, dude, get out of here with that mess. I don't even want to see you.
No, you can't. You can't be doing that.
Anyway,
So
link in the
anyway, TJ 25% off. Swannies is amazing. We are excited to be partnering with them this year. So there we go. Let's should we get into some 9K picks maybe?
Let's talk about it. We got to move quick. Don't forget, guaranteed 4 rounds, only 80 players. They're only playing Spyglass and Pebble, no Monterey Peninsula. Spyglass and Pebble first 2 rounds, Pebble on the weekend. No amateurs on the weekend. Also, all the amateurs are athletes, Pat. I thought that was I think that's a smart move.
Yeah.
Did you know that? No movie stars, singers, Carlton doing the thing and Bill Murray being weird and maybe some pedophilia. All the pedophilia has been kicked out. So it's just athletes.
They just So we got some, like Josh Allen gets to play there because he can't ever make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
People like that.
Is he playing?
I don't know. I was just guessing.
Anyway, 80 guys, no cut, signature event, right? All the things, like, very interesting event. We spent a lot of time at the top of the betting show talking through the differences in this year's Pebble versus others. If you want to check that out, you can go back and listen to that. But yeah, obviously for DFS, guaranteed 4 rounds, points, right? If you're playing Showdown, Pebble historically has played easier than Spyglass. You should know that. And check the weather. The weather we also talked about on the betting show. It's looking very interesting. And we have some takes on the weather. We'll put that in the Discord, but pay attention to all that. We've not had any weather to speak of at all in 2024. Might have some for Pebble. It's gonna get interesting. 9K and above range. Let's get into it. Who do we think the chalk gonna be, Mr. Pat? Are people gonna pay up and play Rory and Scotty, who never play here? Maybe on purpose. Rory's coming off a win in Dubai and a runner-up finish, I think, the week before that. You got Hovland and Xander all in the 10K, all the way down to Ludwig in the 9K range. Where do we think? What's going to be the popular move?
Well, I think this is the chalk is going to be interesting in this range with this week because you don't see a lot of these players normally play here for the 8. They may play here in a major, obviously, but not for this tournament. You look at guys up top. Okay, Rory has not played here in at least the last 5 years
Since the U.S. Open. Yeah.
Neither has Scheffler, neither has Xander, and neither has Morikawa. And obviously, Ludwig has not played here ever.
Justin Thomas hasn't played here.
Thomas is another one. So there's a lot of different, I think a lot of people do tend to always, like it or not, they like to look at course history almost first and the form. And so I think that's going to be that's what's going to separate ownership out a little bit. But I feel like Scheffler's still going to be highly owned. And I think Victor is going to be highly owned. So I think those are going to be the two probably chalkiest guys up here. And then maybe Max Homa.
Yeah,
I think Max Homa is going to be pretty chalky up here.
The pricing is super soft. First of all, I mean, there are a lot of mispriced guys in here. Even for a stud field 80 guy deal, it still feels like quite soft at times. You're talking about the course history, and it's interesting, right? That the two guys with the best course history, neither one of them feels super safe, right? Like Jordan's obviously got an incredible record here. He's a past champion here. He's got 2 top 5s in his last 3 years here. And even though he came out and looked really nice at the Century to finish third, he's not going to pop in models because the form before that wasn't great. We haven't seen him since the Century, and he's Jordan, right? And people know that he's been erratic. So even though the course history feels solid, there's a little distrust there. And then Cantlay, who's sucked. I mean, I had Cantlay everywhere last week.
Yeah.
He crushed me at the Farmers. But incredible record here, on record talking about how much he loves his place, loves Pebble. And those are the two guys with the course history. It is going to be interesting. The Discord Nut Hut aggregate ownership sheet is going to be extremely valuable as we aggregate ownership projections across the industry over 5-6 different websites that we trust. Because this whole range is going to be quite unique. I tell you what I'm doing. I think you're right on Scheffler. I think people are going to play Scheffler over Rory, even though Rory just won. Yeah. I still think people are going to play Scheffler over Rory. I think, which could mean you have a low on Rory, and it's not hard to play two high price guys up here because first of all, you have no cut, and then the values in the 6K and low 7s are incredible. So all these guys are going to get some ownership, but I think Scheffler will be a little higher than Rory. I could see Xander being a little higher than Hovland, just with how consistent Xander has looked in his first 3 starts. Now, he can't do much around the greens. He's not putting great, but I could see that happening. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. 4 guys. I'm playing the lowest 2. That's it. Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Max Homa, and Colin Morikawa. The bottom 4 are the 4, except for Ludwig. Throw out Ludwig. But from Kawa to JT, the 2 lowest out of that group is what I'm probably doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, I think when I'm looking at my 3 favorites in this whole range above 9K, it's JT and Max are 2 of them, and then I'm playing Vic up top. And then if I'm gonna get if for some reason we start to look at ownership projections and it just looks like it's just stupid what Rory's going to be at, which I don't think we're going to get that advantage, then I'm probably going to throw him in some lineups. But I do like if Vic's chalky, I don't care. I do not mind playing a chalky Vic. I like JT and I like Max. Those are like the 3 that I've really kind of landed on in this whole range.
I think I'm going to go ahead and say you're going to have some Rory because I don't think Rory's going to.
I think I'm going to have Rory and I'm going to have some Jordan.
You're going to have.
I know Rory. I'm going to end up with both of those guys.
Yeah, you can't stand not having Rory. And obviously with only 80 guys, ownership percentages are going to be relative, right? It might be a little higher with a limited field, but I think that means I think that means some of the lowest owned names in here could be Ludwig.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Cantlay
could be Cantlay.
God. I think Colin. I think Colin for sure coming off a miscut.
I was gonna say out of those 4 I gave you, it feels like Colin might be the one of the guys that makes the cut for me in the 2 lowest owned out of those 4. And I don't mind it. Like I'll go back. I mean, I know the Farmers was disappointing. The Farmers is not a great. I mean, it's not terrible for him, but
this is so much better. I mean,
this is so much better for him.
Yeah.
Now he's not played here, but that could be a scheduling thing. There could be a lot of reasons. It could be the AM thing. I think Colin's kind of
none of these players typically play here. It's just
right
being an amateur type deal with all the circus that goes on here in the past. It's just a different. We're just getting a different baseline of a year for these guys. So you just can't go off of that a whole lot.
All right, let's talk about the 8K range, because I think the 8K range is where there's some serious leverage. I think it's natural in a no-cut event, 80 guys, studly names at the top. There's going to be a lot of people jamming in 2 or even maybe 3 guys in that 9K and above range, totally skipping the 8K and building out from there. So I think there's leverage opportunity in the 8K range. But before we get to it, I do want to remind everybody about our friends at Underdog, and the PGA Tour season-long best ball contests are up and running, and they start next week. I think it starts with the waste management. Okay, so the $10 first contest that they dropped already filled. They dropped a second one. It's already over 50% full. So get in there and draft your teams. There is some serious strategy around it. There's a whole thread in the Discord, Tour Junkies Discord, talking about strategies and sharing drafts with each other on this thing. The PGA season-long stuff, you're going to regret if you miss out on the PGA Tour season-long on Underdog. It's just the best ball format there is. Click the link in the description in the video or the podcast. If you have not signed up already for Underdog, you get a 100% deposit match up to $100, and you can use that to enter 10 of those $10 best ball contests, and you have a season-long sweat. That is an incredible bang for your buck.
Indeed.
And it's legal in a lot of places. So best ball drafting on Underdog is legal for most states. If you can play any sort of DFS in your state, you can probably do the best ball draft. Even if you've tried to do the pick'em on Underdog, you can you may not be able to do pick'em based on your state, but you can probably do a best ball draft. So you need to check that out. I'm going to do some more live best ball draft content on the YouTube channel this week. Try to jam in as many as I can before next week. So thank you to Underdog. 8K range, Pat. You were grinning as I was talking about leverage in the.
You're just talking about jamming it in, and I kept thinking about whether or not you were playing Tommy Fleetwood this week.
If you think I'm not blowing Tommy Ladd Fleetwood, you don't know me, sir or ma'am. Okay.
I mean, you said jam it in like 3 times.
I literally said that like 5 minutes ago. The thing is going to be confusing about these drops is people listening are gonna think that I'm literally saying that because it's my voice. Obviously, we need to have there needs to be a sound, Tony. Like all these drops should have like a sound indicator. It's like a drop or something. I don't know.
You do like AIDB, and it's just all perverted stuff that have said technically.
Yeah.
But
no.
I just was grinning because I kept thinking about what is going to be my lead in to trying to get the Fleetwood thing going.
Yeah. What if I would have just totally skipped it?
I would have figured out a way, but then you said jam it in like 3 times in the last 5 minutes, and I was the wheels were turning in my head.
Well, it works for this one too.
I'm not leaving this building until there is a finger up my ass.
Tony's making quick work of the soundboard, turning tricks at record pace.
Let's play the Fleetwood one more time, though.
If you think I'm not blowing Tommy Ladd Fleetwood, you don't know me, sir or ma'am. Oh, wait a minute. Did you edit out a word? I said blowing units.
Don't worry about it. Tony takes whatever liberties he wants to take.
What'd you say, Tony?
Yeah. I edited that entire thing. That's like 3 different clips rearranged and whatnot.
What a jackass. Now you're not even taking what we actually said. You're just cutting it up. This is fake news, Tony.
No, you said that, just not in that
order
structure.
Those are all your words.
Yeah, you said those words.
Okay. Oh God. Okay.
Side note, fellas, I played the finger up my ass one the other day. I was on the computer, and then I kept repeating it, and I had it on my speakers, not in my headphones. And then I hear my son in the other room. My dad keeps playing. I'm just going my finger up my ass. He even had the accent too. And I was like, oh, okay. My headphones.
Oh goodness.
Oh, Tony, that's terrible. You're a terrible father. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. 8K though is I do like Fleetwood though, by the way. way.
Well, I think I don't know. Maybe it's my maybe it's my obvious love for Tommy Fleetwood, but I do think if anybody's going to get some love in here, it's probably Tommy, just because we love to play Tommy. We just do. It just is what it is. But the only guy with any real course history here to speak of is Jason Day. You've got, a couple of these guys played well at the U.S. Open, Byung-Hun An, Matt Fitzpatrick when it was here at Pebble, but we obviously know it's going to be very different than the U.S. Open. Fitzy, T6 here in 2022. I just don't know who other than Tommy is going to be potential chalk. Are people going to play Jason Day just because of that incredible record?
I mean, maybe, but I
don't think
can't
so.
imagine playing some Day and making and enough where he's going to be chalky. I mean, maybe Højgaard just
I was
because of
just about to say that.
like what he's done recently. I think he's obviously a super talented guy, and he's a guy that I think we're going to see a lot on tour unless he jumps to live. Yeah, I think that he's going to be a guy that we certainly is going to be contending a lot. I'm interested to know what you're going to do with Sam Burns, because I kind of like Sam Burns a lot this week. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I think his ownership's going to be low. I know he kind of blew the Amex. I just think I think Burns might be another good play this week. And he's certainly going to be, I think lower owned.
I think he will be lower owned. I was all over Sammy B at the Amex. But I don't think I'm going to play him. I think there are other pivots in this range that will be as low or lower that will be cheaper, that I think have as much upside and maybe a higher floor. I think down at the bottom, Tom Kim is intriguing me.
Yeah.
Just
nobody's really talking about him.
Yeah, just from what do we know about what the guy does well when he's on? He's very accurate, great iron play. The putter hasn't been great, I guess, to start the year, but typically a good putter. I think Tom Kim is interesting. I'm curious to see what people do with Fitzy and Hideki. Now, Hideki might get a little steam after last week. He kind of steamed late last week because we were talking about him in the Discord a good bit, and I think we both played him. He was my one and done play. So Decky might be a little bit higher owned, but Fitzpatrick, I know he was your fade in the season-long bet, and I think that was probably in the range that we have to make that fade call out of, probably a good fade. But I could see Fitzy having a good week here. And at low ownership, I think I'm interested. Like, I would rather play Tom, Fitz, even Sung Jae. Sung Jae might be more popular than Sam Burns, but I would rather play all three of those guys above Burns.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that Fitzy to me can make a lot of sense as a DFS play.
Yeah.
But as an outright win, I don't know if I like it as much, but I do think he makes some sense as a DFS play. So I agree with you there. But I don't know. I don't like typically just totally skipping over a range, and I don't think you can do that, especially in this field. But there's not a whole lot of guys that excite me. I like Ben On. I think Ben On's obviously been playing well, but
that's why that's why this range is for sure going to be the leverage spot. This is where you can get it. So if you start building lineups with these guys, and then finish out the rest of your lineups to make sure you get them in here, I think that's where you can be unique. And these are big names. Like, there's some really big names in here with obviously winning upside in a field like this if things are clicking. So it's not like you're dumpster diving here.
It's not, but I'll tell you this. I mean, literally, I think you could go into the next range at the 7K.
You do the same thing.
And just
leave $5,000 on the table.
Pick six guys at the 7K range. And the way things are going this year, you're going to win a freaking crap ton of money. So.
Yeah. Are you going to play Cam Young? Because you keep wanting to play Cam Young, and I'm just
okay. I'm not this week.
You almost won in Dubai, Pat.
I know, but I say it's not the week to play Cam Young,
Jeez, dude.
but do you not
The
see
power of suggestion.
Do you not see like some similarities between Cam Young and Gary Woodland? I mean, think
was the USA.
abstractly. I mean, there are some similarities.
I guess they're both dudes. They both
They both hit it a long way. Gary Woodland hits it a long way. So
yeah,
does Cam Young.
which doesn't matter here at all.
I know, but Woodland won here is what I'm saying. We said it doesn't matter. Like a lot of people were not on Woodland.
Woodland had the putting week of his life.
I know, but what I'm saying is nobody had Woodland because of his style of play. They did not think it fit Pebble Beach.
This is true.
He won.
He was fourth in the field in putting that week, which probably Gary Woodland has not done 5 times in his freaking 15-year career. So I guess if you want to bank on Cam Young possibly having an amazing putting career, because
you brought it up.
He also sucks at putting.
I was totally skipping over Cam Young. I wasn't even going to bring him up. You brought him up.
I know. I just want to know if you're still, if you had a little half chub for Cam.
Well, I mean, no, but I started thinking about it.
Now you have a full chub?
No, I don't. There's no chub.
Roll of quarters in there, huh?
No.
Why's your voice get all grumpy?
Why's my voice cracking? Dang it. All right, let's go on to the 7K range. We got Danny Woodhead coming up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. We have Danny Woodhead. 7K range. Boy, yeah, like you said, you could definitely build entire lineups with the 7K range alone. So let's try. I mean, now with all the options in here, it should dilute ownership. So we shouldn't have like full-fledged, 18, 17, 20% guys in here. But there are some guys in here that feel horribly underpriced.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, I would say the most egregious among them, probably Eric Colt, even though I know he's coming off the missed cut at the Farmers. Stefan Jaeger hasn't missed a cut. I think it's been a minute. I don't remember. But it's been a while. Like he's playing well. Not that there's a cut to have here, but he's playing well. And obviously he could have won the Farmers. Yeah, Brian Harmon, the Open champion who seemingly fits this place very well, is $7,600. Like there just feels like a lot of value here. So that's probably where I think those 3 guys will be popular to some extent. There's some course history guys in here that some people like to play, some don't. Outside of that, like who are some possible pivots? Like who do you like that might not get all the love?
I can tell you one right off the bat that I think that we haven't talked about on the betting show. I haven't heard a lot of people
guess who this is. Can I guess?
It's a Chunsier. I think you might get it. I think you might get this.
It's a Chunsier. Is it Nick Taylor?
No, because you mentioned him on the betting show. Pay attention to yourself.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
Corey Connors.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I mean, look, here's what I'm saying.
Look,
he is a ball striking fool. We know it. He is, and he's not played here a whole lot, which is surprising to me. Actually, he hasn't played here at all. I think Corey Connors is interesting. You look at driving accuracy off the tee. We know his approach game is impeccable. His putting sucks. I get it, which is maybe why he hasn't played here.
Has he ever putted well at this place?
I don't think he's ever played.
At any place with POA.
Probably not. He hasn't
West Coast POA.
Well, he hasn't put on any course well. So it doesn't matter.
Well, he's had a couple of fluky, shit. He played here in 2018 and he played 2019.
Okay.
and he did not gain. He missed the cut both times. He did not gain strokes. He's played the Farmers 3 times. He's never gained strokes on the putting greens at the Farmers. And then Genesis, he has played 4 times, and he gained almost a full shot in 2023 of the Genesis. So like in however many rounds that is on POA, one tournament he was a little better than half a shot on the green. Like I don't know. I
Yeah,
looked
you're
at
starting
Connor.
to you're kind of talking me out of them, but
I looked at him, dude. I did. I looked at because I was all over him for the Sony. I mean, I had him on the betting card. I had him top 20 lock. I had put him on SoBet, had him in DFS, and he just freaking sucked. He didn't hit the irons as good, and then he putted like he normally does. I don't know. I don't know that I trust him on POA. His short game out of the sand sucks, and I mean the bunkers around Pebble is really the only trouble around the
yeah,
green.
I mean, I think that's one thing. Like, if you're working on your own model, I never really throw in scrambling from the sand, but I did this week on my own model on BTN on Bet the Number.
Mhm.
And that's one that I put in, which is, there's, so let's talk about the guys that I really do like in here. And Denny McCarthy's one of them, and he checks that box for sure. He's top 5 scrambling from the sand when you look at over the last, 30 rounds or so. I love Danny McCarthy a lot this week. He's played well on this golf course before. We saw him at the Sony Open with the top 25. So he's one of those up there. Like, I kind of wonder, like, though, like you're saying, like, who are the guys in here that, like, because I know Russell Henley's a lot of people are going to go to. Brian Harmon, a lot of people are going to go to with his price. Eric Cole, you already mentioned.
Denny.
I think Denny is probably going to be chalky. I like Kevin Yu. You're not as big of a fan of Kevin Yu as I am, but I mean, 2 straight top 10s and the top 10 here last year.
Yeah.
I think that makes some sense. I think he's one of them that's probably going to be low owned. I'm
gonna keep going back to Kirk. I could see Kirk being kind of in the middle there in terms of ownership, but I do like Kirk. I think my pivots are the one I mentioned, Nick Taylor. Even though Nick has, maybe I'm wrong. I even though he has the win here, he's played great here. I obviously get the course history thing, but he's right there with Eric Cole, similarly priced. And people don't get excited to play Nick Taylor. Like, Nick Taylor is the least excitable person on the PGA Tour. Maybe that's just my perception because that's kind of how I see him. I don't play Nick Taylor a ton. I probably should. So maybe he gets a little more love than I thought. The next one is right there with him. And this one, this is going to be very dependent on Nut Hut aggregate ownership in the Discord. And trust me, if it's 10%, I'm out because there's probably somebody next to him that's half of that. But we talked about him on the betting show. All he's done in 2024 is gain a hell of a lot of strokes with his irons and a hell of a lot of strokes with his putter, which is what you're going to have to do at Pebble. And it's Mathieu Pavon.
Mathieu. Bless you.
That's $7,100. I'm interested. I'm still interested.
Yeah, I don't see how you can't be. Mathieu.
It will be very, very intriguing to see what people do.
All right. How about this one then? Why are we not looking at EVR at all?
I have him written down. I don't mind EVR.
I mean, you look at him at 7,000.
Mm-hmm.
He's played very well this year, has a win in the fall. He missed a cut here last year at this golf tournament. So what? Totally different deal.
Irons
are dialed in. The putter's not going to be, like show up the greatest in your models, but it's not terrible. And then his scrambling is going to worry me a little bit.
Yeah,
but if his irons are good and he's hitting these greens, I think EVR makes a lot of sense too at that 7th. And I don't think he's going to be high owned. I don't.
Also, with the softer greens, with all the rain coming, maybe less scrambling, I think, because I mean the greens are going to hold a little better. I'm with you. He's and he is really good. And Pebble asks a lot of you from the wedges and the long irons. He's number 2 on Bet the Number in strokes gained approach, 175 to 225, and he's number 11 strokes gained approach between 90 and 130 yards. By the way, we should take this second to let people know that when you are on Bet the Number, the proprietary Bet the Number model that's released every Friday, the BTN and then whatever the tournament name is, will get updated. And this is going to be an important week for you to check that. So as the folks behind the scenes making the model and Bet the Number are gathering more information from the golf course and how it's going to play and weather and how it's going to set up, they will change the model. So it's a good idea to refresh your screen or refresh your model if you leave it up on a tab for, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, once a day on Tuesday, maybe refresh it a couple times a day on Wednesday before you finalize some stuff. Refresh it on Wednesday, especially with weather coming. The BTN model could get adjusted. So that's something that you should know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you on Eric Van Reen. Brendan Todd's down there, who I like a lot, but I could see Todd getting a little bit of love. And then you've got, Pavon and Dick Taylor and Eric Cole, who I talked about. Maybe guys jump on that, and EVR gets a little overlooked with only one tournament here last year in a miscut. But I get you. All right. Before we get to the 6K range, I want to thank our friends at SoBet. Hopefully, you've already jumped on the SoBet train with us. We're over 50 plus handicappers, all vetted by our friends at SoBet, good at what they do. Every sport imaginable on SoBet. There's going to be a ton of NFL betting, props, everything you can imagine is going to be coming out of all their great NFL handicappers on SoBet. Promo code TJ or TJ Trial actually gets you a free month on SoBet. And you can cancel at any time, although you probably won't want to. They've got a bunch of great NBA handicappers, UFC handicappers I saw making a lot of money the weekend of the Sean Strickland fight. So give it a shot. They ask all these handicappers to be transparent with their picks, give great logic for the picks. They have to give unit values for the picks, and they have to recap whether they won or lost, what's going on. So you get total transparency from the handicappers you are tailing. And if you're like me, you only have time to handicap maybe 1 or 2 sports for yourself. And then you just want to tail good guys, good bettors. So that's what SoBet helps you do. And it's pretty cheap relative to a lot of people in the market charging a hell of a lot more. And SoBet's got a bunch of handicappers making a bunch of people money. Link in the description, promo code TJ Trial for that first free month. All right, 6K draft. Then we'll get to Danny Woodhead, Pat. Let's get it. I'm going to let you start.
Yeah. Well, we can go quick because there's not as many 6K guys as we usually have to choose from, but I will start with Mark Hubbard at 6,300. I'm going cheap, DB. I like him a lot this week. Finished top 20 here last year. Has made the cut the last 3 years here. I also had a top 20 finish last week at the Farmers. He's going to check a lot of boxes for you, especially on approach. Top 10 in the field and a good putter as well. Hubbard, 6,300.
All right, I'm going to go with a guy that I love to play. We all know it. We all know I love to play him. 6,700. Give me some Cam Davis. I'm usually in on Cam Davis. He's played here 4 times. T14 was his best finish back in 2021. Cam D does plenty of damage on shorter, more positional golf courses. Gains a lot of strokes from the fairway in those key ranges. Good short game. Really good out of the bunker, actually. And we know he's a really good putter too. Guys got a great putter. So I'll go Cam Davis. A lot of upside with Cam at 6,800, I think.
Yeah. All right. I'll stay at 6,800, and I'll go with your boy who helped you out a lot, I believe, in the season-long bet, Andrew Putnam at 6,800. Had that top 10 at the Sony. He was T6 at or T6 last year or 2 years ago here at the Sony at Pebble Beach. Checks a lot of boxes. He's good on approach from 90 to 130 yards. He's top 10 there. He's top 25 in approach from 175 to 225. Good putter. Andrew Putnam at 6,800. How did he help you out again? Oh, no, that was the bet. That was like the bet where
I was going to say that was the spam bet with JJ.
That was the spam bet is what it was. It was not the season long.
I don't really love Putnam. I don't know. It takes a lot for me to love Putnam. He is cheap. I'll give you that. I like Brandon Wu. Talked about him on the betting show as a possible bomb top 20. start of the year, T18 at the Sony, a little, short positional track, gained a bunch of strokes with the irons, missed the cut at the Amex, but missed it on the number after shooting 11 under. That's always fun. Finished runner-up here last year, above average in accuracy, really good bunker player as well around the greens, and gained strokes from the fairway at a nice clip. I will go B-Woo.
All right. Well, I'll be quick here. I'm just going to go Tom Hoagie.
Ah, dang it.
Tom Hoagie is, obviously won this golf tournament before. He's at 6,700. This is a Hoagie. This is just a Hoagie event. So got to play.
He loves those golf courses where everybody's hitting to the same spot off the tee.
Yeah,
and this is one of those. All right. Well, I'll ride the hot hand. I'm a little concerned about what he's going to do off the tee. I guess he's not played here before. Taylor Montgomery. Just with the extremely hot putting ability of Taylor Montgomery, really good short game from Taylor Montgomery. I mean, he's good around the greens, good out of the bunker. Putter's amazing, and the irons are starting to do okay. They're showing signs of life at the Sony. I mean, he was incredible. I do worry about him a little bit off the tee because he can't hit driver, and the long irons are also not amazing. So I mean, I don't know how much better he'll be off the tee, but I think as hot as he's been lately, and the putting upside is worth kind of a flyer on Taylor Montgomery. So I'll go Tamo.
All right.
So the 6K range draft is Cam Davis, Taylor Montgomery, Andrew Putnam, Tom Hoagie, Brandon Wu, and Mark Hubbard. Good stuff. All right. So the Danny Woodhead interview coming up next. You're going to enjoy it. We're going to talk Super Bowl, some stories from the Super Bowl, his thoughts on the Niners, his thoughts on the Chiefs, the matchup. I nailed him down, Pat. I made him take. I said, listen, here's the spread, here's the over-under, here's the money line. What do you like? And he quite confidently has his stance. So we have a great time with Danny Woodhead. So thanks for everybody for putting up with us and this dumb soundbite stuff going on that's happening. Feels like it's taking over everything. But it's weird. Let's get weird.
Get you some 20s. Be the GOAT.
Give me that Hissatune one more time. Hissatune.
Hissatune. Hissatune.
You said it different on that one, but I like that one better.
I did see the little a tongue
Thea.
Hissatune. I could not do that again if I tried, I don't think.
Oh, gosh. All right, let's get to Danny Woodhead. All right, Golf Addicts, friend of the podcast, Danny Woodhead, Danny Dubs, Super Bowl champion, running back, golf addict. Thought it'd be great to have him on as we lead up to the Super Bowl. Just had the conference championship games yesterday. Danny, the matchup is set. You've got the Chiefs again and the San Francisco 49ers, a chance at redemption. What do you think of the matchup?
I think it's going to be a good matchup. I mean, I really thought any of the four teams, whoever won, I thought it was they're all deserving. They're all really good teams. All teams that is it really that much of a shock? No, I wouldn't say any of them were. So I think, I mean, yeah, things could have went differently yesterday in both games, clearly, but I think everyone should be happy with it.
What are you I'm sure you're not, but all the conspiracy theory stuff about Super Bowl logos determining teams and the NFL's rigged and all this stuff?
No, I mean, if so, football's not something you can really rig.
Right.
I mean, you can have some refs make some bad calls.
Yeah.
There could be some of that, but it's just not possible. Because you're playing and you're playing a violent game at that fast. There'd be more injuries if it was rigged. It'd be way more. If people are okay, we got to do this, to do this, to do this. It's I've heard it and I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I get it as a fan because if your team gets the short end of the stick by a ref, then you're oh, this is rigged. We knew it. They want this guy in. And it's well, you could also say, let's just say, for instance, the Chiefs, say they rigged it for the Chiefs, right? you could also say like, no, they wanted a Harbaugh championship, college football, NFL. You could say they wanted Lamar to win the title. Like, I mean, it's just like, to me, it's kind of silly. Or the story of the Lions getting in
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
a monster story.
Agree.
I mean,
And that's somebody that it feels like most of America was pulling for to get in.
yes. So like, I mean,
Yeah.
I get it sometimes, like people
And the tide has started to turn. Like people are starting to, the Chiefs are starting to turn into the Patriots after the Patriots
are.
just kept doing it. They got to that level where people just were like, now I'm tired of them. I hate them. I'm pulling against them. Like you felt some of that. I'm
Exactly.
sure.
So like I get it, but no.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? There's certain things in this world that you can question. That one is a hard one to question, especially when you played in those games.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, this is a gambling show. So the line is up right now. This is Monday. We're recording this. San Francisco 49ers are -1 favorite. That's the spread. The over-under is 47.5. Any thoughts on who you think wins that game? And
Well,
what sides you take?
I'd plug for everyone in the world to bet Kansas City, and then I'd straight money line the Niners. That's just what I do. I'd say, hey, everyone in the world, pick the Chiefs. I think the Niners are going to win. I really do. I think I will say this. I think this is one of the best years of quarterbacking Patrick Mahomes has done, though.
He's done a lot with a little.
I don't think his team's great. I really don't. Kelsey, he played big last night, but there was a decent amount of the year where he kind of struggled, or didn't struggle, but just didn't do a ton.
Yep.
They don't have receivers. They just don't. They don't have dudes that just can get open like that, like one-on-one. That's the most important thing. And one of the things that hurts them a ton has hurt them up to this point. Not having Jerick McKinnon has been killing them because he's a pass catching running back that makes such a difference, and he made such a difference last year in their run. And I don't know where he's at. I don't know if he can come back, but like that's not a great situation. I just don't. I think their defense confused them. Spags has confused offenses enough. But you're also going up against Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy's a really good football player.
Seems like it.
The people that are coming out, they like. I sent out a tweet last night, whether it's Twitter, X, or whatever.
Yeah, I still say tweet. Yeah,
I tweeted something about to the extent of, well, that was he managed to scramble for however many yards. Like that was very smart. He managed to throw he threw some tight window balls. He threw some really good balls. Yeah, everyone's going to say Ayuk's lucky. Well, yeah. Ayuk's got to go get that.
Yeah.
He's got to keep running and just get it.
Yeah.
Even if it's breaking it up, whatever. It wasn't that. He threw his guy a 50-50 ball and said, I trust you.
Yeah.
That's what he did. But then what about the crossbody, like Brett Favre's throw on that I think it was third down? Unbelievable. Unreal. He threw some other balls that you're just like, wow. And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of people saying it's because he's Drew Brees height. That's why they're doing it. And he doesn't run a 4.1.
And he's a 7th round pick.
Yeah, but like the dude's a dog.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why people are questioning.
Oh, and then people say, well, look at all the weapons he has. He's got McCaffrey, he's got Kittle.
He does, but like he definitely does, but he doesn't have Tyreek Hill.
Right.
We're making it sound like I think Debo's a really good player.
Yeah.
He's still not Tyreek Hill.
No.
Like
nobody's Tyreek Hill.
No one. There's no human being. There's no Devontae Adams. Debo's a great player. He's different though. And they don't have tons of guys. If you really think about it, and I think Kittle's great. I think Ayuk's a good player. But like, do they really have guys that are just automatic one-on-one winners.
I mean, outside
mean,
of McCaffrey, if he gets out of there,
that's what I'm saying. But like, if
Yeah.
I'm the defense, I'm blitzing over him.
Mm.
Like I just am the whole game. That's what I'm blitzing over him because they know their protections. And then if they do free release, well, the safety comes down, covers. Like, I just don't know. Like they have tons of weapons, yes, but it's different weapons. Ayuk, I don't know. Kittle's like a great player, but is he always a man-to-man winner? I mean, he can.
Yeah,
He's definitely really good. Is he Travis Kelce?
probably not.
No. He's
Better blocker.
but he's a way better blocker.
Yeah.
So he's a weapon. Juszczyk, really good player,
Mm.
but like, is he gonna always win one-on-one? Like, I don't think people understand his. If you look at the year that let's just go with Pat Mahomes, when he had Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and then he had a few other guys.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah,
that's illegal.
yeah.
If Brock
Best
Purdy
quarterback in the league and the best receiver in the league, and the best tight end in the league.
if Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill played with Purdy, do you think they'd call him a game manager? They still would. But they would say, "Oh my gosh, Tyreek Hill's so good." Travis Kelce, when they didn't always say that with Mahomes. It was always like, "Oh my gosh, Mahomes." Like, Brock Purdy is really good. He's a really good player. He had like one game against the Ravens, the Ravens a lot of times confuse the heck out of people. Mahomes, he had some decent stats yesterday. They scored 17 points. They should, that's not a lot of points against.
All right, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Compare Brock Purdy to a golfer, PGA, Live, of any era. Yeah, take your time.
It's hard. He's not. I will say this: he's not a Lamar Jackson.
No,
He's not good. But I'll tell you what. He's not flashy, is what I'm saying.
right.
He just isn't. But he is good. He's really good. He doesn't have the craziest. I'm trying to think of someone who doesn't hit the ball forever that is like baller. That's tough because golf. Nowadays you do have to hit.
I mean, in the top, if you look in the top 10 world ranking or so right now, I mean, I'd probably say Morikawa is the guy who
that's a great.
Doesn't hit it very far. Brian Harmon, actually.
Brian Harmon's not a bad, and they look about the same height.
Yeah, I think Brian Harmon.
He's actually a great compare. I think Morikawa is actually a really good comparison too.
You know what I doubt about Morikawa though?
What's that?
I just doubt his alpha-ness.
Bro, does he not? Okay, I love him. I love how he hits the ball. I love his irons. I love this, that, and the other.
But he's won freaking 2 majors. At the same time, I say that he's won 2 majors. He won Harding Park.
But it's more so. It doesn't feel like it. Almost like, and I hope this comes back to haunt me because I like him. He doesn't feel like he really has that dog in him.
Mm-mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But
Purdy does.
What?
But Purdy does.
Well, yes, that is true.
And Harmon does.
Harmon, I know. Could we put them together as a golfer?
I think we could.
I think I'm 100% we can. But that's the thing that does concern me a little. Not concern me, but if you think some of the dudes you think of Rom. Rom's got that dog.
Yeah.
Brooksy, he's got that dog in him. Even though he struggled last year, Justin Thomas has a dog in him.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain guys that they'll rip your throat out to win.
All right, I want to talk golf here in a second, but let me ask you one more thing about Super Bowl. Well, a couple things about Super Bowl. I love me and Pat every year for the Super Bowl, and we'll do this next week on the Waste Management Show. We love to do our wild prop bets for the Super Bowl. I've got a pretty good record with Gatorade color, and we've done the coin toss stuff. Do you get into any of that? And as a player, having been in one, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on the Gatorade color. First of all, in the team locker room, if you think you're going to win the Super Bowl, are people talking about it needs to be our team colors? If we want it to be, does it matter what flavor it is? Like, does anybody talk about it?
Before the game, especially the Super Bowl, I was in the bathroom a lot because the last thing I was thinking about.
I know you guys aren't like having team meetings about the Gatorade color. I'm just saying, like, does one person be like, hey, yo, if we win this damn thing, like the Gatorade color better be blue or red, right?
They might. There might be someone.
I never heard them.
You see that? I'll tell you what. The kicker and the punter and the long snapper.
They're figuring it out.
They're barely people.
Shots fired. Come on, dude. Your boy, your kicker in New England. Well, God, what was the guy's name? Yeah, Gostkowski was.
No. Let me say this. A lot of the kickers and punters were some of my best friends.
Yeah.
So barely people like football boys.
Yeah.
But they do decide games, and you gotta have some ice in your veins. But they just didn't have to go through the same type of practice that we had to.
So what's that?
You're just mad a little because it's like, hey, they're not doing this. Like, what the heck?
All right, so you talked about how you're in the bathroom, which I can understand. I mean, dude, I can't even. Well, actually, I can't understand. But I mean, like, I before like teeing off in a member guest, I'm crapping like 4 times, so I can't even imagine what goes on. But like any other, I'd love to hear like a couple of good inside stories from you on Super Bowl experiences or memorable moments or kind of moments like that you've got from your.
Yeah, I'd say, man, when we went out for like, so guys will go out and warm up kind of before warm-ups. I remember walking out and I was like, Michael Irvin, Prime was there, Joe Theismann, and you're like, what on earth am I doing in this game? You're like,
yeah.
And everyone's walking. It's the who's who is on the field, and you're just like, that's when it kind of hits you. You're like, this is like real life, This is like actually happening. And then you get out there, and they do the national anthem, and I don't know if it was like Beyonce or someone. We're like, where are we? Madonna was a halftime show, and it's like, I do remember sitting on the bench talking to the running backs. I'm like, this is bizarre. Like, it's absolutely bizarre that this is happening. And then once it's the first play, then it's like, oh, all right, we're playing. It's a football game. Now, are there millions of people watching you? Yes. But I'll tell you what, it's crazy. It's a bizarre. So that's one thing that's crazy. I'll tell you what, halftime's crazy. We usually have like 10 minutes, 10 to 12. It's like half an hour.
Yeah.
It's
like a college football halftime.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like you have to go out and warm up again. So like that was different. I had to switch jerseys at halftime.
Why?
Because I think they put it in like the Patriots Hall of Fame, like for certain guys, if they had so I had a touchdown in that game. So like stuff like that. So you just knew you had to change jerseys, and that's miserable because the jerseys are so tight and whatever.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of bizarre, weird things that aren't like a normal game.
What was your did you have like a touchdown celebration planned in the event you got in there for the Super Bowl, or did you guys do that? I feel like the Patriots didn't really get into that like they do this.
I don't even know what I was doing. I mean, I know what I was doing.
Did you like black out when you like? I can imagine you just.
I did a little bit. I caught the ball, and hey, they're not no endorsement obviously, but I had cutter's gloves on. I caught it, and then I like acted like I was going to spike it, but like I couldn't get it off. Like
yeah, I remember that.
And I looked at my hand, and then I picked it up, blew a kiss to my wife and my newborn daughter, who is now 12. Yeah, it was just.
You get the ball?
Yes, and I have it in the same form. So like when you score a touchdown, they just put tape around it and put your number on it, and that's it. And I didn't do anything. I didn't put
left the tape.
Nothing. I just that's how it is.
That's sick. All right, before we get off the Super Bowl and move on to golf, I need Danny Woodhead's official picks. Okay, like I said, right now, not you trying to move the line. Okay.
Yeah.
Money line on the 49ers is -118. Chiefs is -102. Like I said, Niners are a 1-point favorite. The over-under is 47.5. If I made you pick a side on all three of those, what are we doing?
I'm going 27-21 49ers. And not because I think Brock Purdy's amazing. I think the 49ers are.
So we're going 49ers all three, spread over on the total and the money
Yes,
line.
you noticed that.
Mhm.
Because you said it's 47.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 48. I would. Just because, Mahomes is going to score.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. Even if he doesn't have the greatest team that he's ever had, which he doesn't, and they still could win.
Oh, yeah.
The only way it is if it's just not fate, but so it would have been 2011 maybe is when the Ravens won with Joe Flacco. We played them that year. They weren't that good. I love Joe. He's a good buddy of mine, but we were way better than them, and we just didn't beat them. And I kind of weirdly feel like that's kind of what's happening with the Chiefs right now. I didn't think they were better than the Ravens. Even watching, I thought the Ravens played so undisciplined. Obviously,
they had a lot of personal foul penalties.
Lots of personal fouls.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers, I think he's a great player, but you can't reach the ball over. That's a number one rule. You don't do that unless it's fourth down. You don't. You can't. That's a no.
And that was a big Belichick rule, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, good stuff there from our boy Danny Dubs. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget great conversation with him about the state of professional golf, PGA Tour Live. Good takes dropping from him probably on Friday on the YouTube channel and podcast feed. Appreciate Danny stopping by. Don't forget to check out the Live preview as well for Mayakoba. We will see you in the Discord, and we can't wait for Pebble to really be over because that means we get to go to Scottsdale for the waste management. May your screens be green. See you.